Welcome to the Ultimate Gaming Consoles Trivia Quiz. Get ready to test your knowledge on the devices that brought us countless hours of fun. We've got 25 questions coming your way, 10 true or false, 10 multiple choice, and 5 fill in the blank. Lock in your answers before the timer runs out, and don't forget to put your final score in the comments below. Let's get started. Question 1. The Nintendo Switch was the first hybrid gaming console that could be played both at home and on the go. True or false? False. While the Switch popularized the concept, the Sega Nomad actually did it first in 1995, letting you play Genesis games on the go. Question 2. The original PlayStation was initially developed as a Nintendo console add-on. True or false? True. Sony originally partnered with Nintendo to create a CD-ROM add-on for the SNES, but the deal fell through, leading to Sony creating their own console. Question 3. The Xbox 360 was the first console to support HD graphics. True or false? False. While the 360 popularized HD gaming, the first console with HD support was actually the obscure Nuon technology in some DVD players back in 2000. Question 4. The Atari 2600 was originally called the Atari VCS. True or false? True. It was called the Video Computer System, VCS, until 1982 when it was renamed to 2600 after its model number. Question 5. The Nintendo 64's controller was the first to feature analog stick control. True or false? False. While it popularized the analog stick, the Vectrex console from 1982 actually had it first, and the Atari 5200 had a primitive version in 1982. Question 6. The Sega Dreamcast was the first console with a built-in modem for online play. True or false? True. The Dreamcast pioneered online console gaming in 1999 with its 56K modem, years before Xbox Live. Question 7. The PlayStation 2 is the best-selling game console of all time. True or false? True. With over 155 million units sold, the PS2 still holds the record, though the Nintendo DS comes close. Question 8. The Xbox was originally going to be called the DirectX Box. True or false? True. Microsoft's console was indeed codenamed the DirectX Box, referencing its PC-like architecture before being shortened to Xbox. This one's a hard one. Good luck with question 9. The Virtual Boy was Nintendo's first attempt at VR gaming. True or false? False. While it's often called a VR console, Nintendo never marketed it as such. Their actual first VR attempt was the Famicom 3D system in 1987, which flopped in Japan. Question 10. The Magnavox Odyssey was the first commercial home video game console. True or false? True. Released in 1972, the Odyssey predated even Pong and started the home console revolution. We are warmed up now. If you're enjoying this gaming console trivia, don't forget to like and subscribe. Up next, we've got some tricky multiple-choice questions coming your way. Question 11. Which of these consoles was not part of the 16-bit era? A. Sega Genesis. B. Atari Jaguar. C. Super Nintendo. D. TurboGrafx 16. B. Atari Jaguar. While it claimed to be 64-bit, it wasn't really. The Jaguar came much later in 1993, while the others were true 16-bit systems from the late 80s, early 90s. Question 12. What was the codename for the original PlayStation during development? A. Motion Engine. B. Project Reality. C. PlayStation X. D. NX-01. B. Project Reality. This was Sony and Nintendo's joint project name before it became Sony's standalone console. A Motion Engine came later with PS2. Question 13. Which console introduced the first analog shoulder buttons? A. PlayStation. B. Nintendo 64. C. Sega Saturn. D. A box of rubber bands. A. PlayStation. The original DualShock controller in 1997 introduced both analog sticks and analog shoulder buttons, revolutionizing game controls. Question 14. What was unique about the Nintendo GameCube's optical discs? A. They were square. B. They were the smallest console discs ever. C. They could only be read upside down. D. They were made of cheese. B. They were the smallest console discs ever. At 8 cm diameter, GameCube discs held 1.5 GB, much smaller than standard DVDs. And no, they weren't actually made of cheese, though that would explain the smell. This one's a hard one. Good luck with question 15. Which company developed the graphics chip for the original Xbox? A. ADI. B. NVIDIA. C. Intel. D. A team of trained dolphins. B. NVIDIA. The original Xbox used a modified NV20 GPU from NVIDIA, marking their first major console venture. The Dolphins were busy with Dreamcast development. Question 16. What was the first console to use CDs instead of cartridges? A. Sega CD. B. Philips CDI. C. PlayStation. D. A toaster with dreams. B. Philips CDI. Released in 1991, the CDI beat the Sega CD by a year. Though neither was very successful, they paved the way for PlayStation's CD revolution. Question 17. Which of these was an actual add-on for the Sega Genesis? A. Sega 32X. B. Sega Neptune. C. Sega Channel. D. Sega Fridge. A. Sega 32X. The 32X was a real, if ill-fated, add-on. The Neptune was a cancelled combo console, Sega Channel was a cable service, and the Sega Fridge, well, that's just wishful thinking. Question 18. What was unique about the Nintendo Wii's disk drive? A. It could play GameCube discs. B. It loaded games upside down. C. It could toast bread. D. It only worked during full moons. A. It could play GameCube discs. Early Wii models had full backward compatibility, including controller ports and memory card slots. The toasting feature was sadly never implemented. Question 19. Which console had the codename Revolution during development? A. PlayStation 3. B. Xbox 360. C. Nintendo Wii. D. A particularly rowdy blender. C. Nintendo Wii. Before its quirky final name, Nintendo's motion-controlled console was called the Revolution internally, which was actually pretty accurate. Question 20. What was the first console to feature built-in Wi-Fi? A. PlayStation Portable. B. Nintendo DS. C. Xbox 360. D. A carrier pigeon with a USB port. B. Nintendo DS. The original DS in 2004 had Wi-Fi before the PSP, which required an adapter, or the Xbox 360, which needed a separate dongle. The Pigeon would have been faster, though. I hope you have been getting some correct. Don't worry if not, some of these are real stumpers. Coming up next, we've got 5 fill-in-the-blank questions to really test your gaming console knowledge. Question 21. The blank was Nintendo's first console to use optical discs instead of cartridges. The answer is GameCube. After sticking with cartridges for the N64, Nintendo finally went optical in 2001 with their little purple lunchbox. Question 22. The blank was Sega's final home console before exiting the hardware business. The answer is Dreamcast. Sega's swan song launched strong in 1999 but couldn't compete with the upcoming PS2, leading to Sega becoming a third-party developer. This one's a hard one. Good luck with question 23. The blank was the first console to feature rumble feedback in its standard controller. The answer is Nintendo 64. While the PlayStation had rumble later, the N64's Rumble Pack in 1997 was the first standard vibration accessory included with many games. Question 24. The blank was Microsoft's answer to the Wii's motion controls, released for the Xbox 360. The answer is Kinect. Originally called Project Natal, this camera-based system let you control games with your whole body when it worked properly. Question 25. The blank was Sony's handheld console that competed with the Nintendo DS. The answer is PSP. The PlayStation Portable brought console-quality gaming on the go in 2004, though it never quite caught up to Nintendo's handheld dominance. And that is the end of the Gaming Consoles Trivia Quiz. We hope you've enjoyed testing your knowledge across decades of gaming history. Don't forget to like and subscribe and put your final score in the comments below. How many did you get right out of 25? Until next time, happy gaming.